I will ask you. Yes. Wonderful, Katherine. Thank you so much for joining us for the piece of the puzzle here with Yes Exclusive Flowers. This is Katherine from SA Weddings. And I mean, we are here in South Africa. And we want to know from Katherine, obviously, a little bit more about like her current view on maybe what South African weddings will look like in the future. But for a lot of people that maybe are watching, because we also have people from abroad, that might be interested in getting married in South Africa, or even maybe like within the country that we're on destination weddings. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your journey with SA Weddings, and what does SA Weddings stand for?
Well, thank you for inviting me. It was great to be with you. So yeah, we've been in the industry, well, SA Weddings has been in the industry for 20 years this year. So it's actually quite a milestone for us this year.
A big party.
Yeah, so it's we actually started our online platform to really help brides in planning their weddings. So they come to us and we create content, inspirational content, and we broadcast it over different platforms, over social media. We've got on our site, we've got all our inspiration tools, and then we've got our blog. So we created this platform, and and all I can say right now is, with this lockdown, it's been quite traumatic for a lot of brides, not just the brides, our industry in South Africa, all over the world. And it's tough, but the most important thing is we've got to stay positive for everyone. And I think we as a team at SA Weddings, we've been doing that quite well, because we are very passionate, enthusiastic team. We love the industry. And we've been doing a lot of sharing, trying to motivate, and that's basically how we've been attacking things during this time.
But how actually Katherine came to the idea to do something like SA Wedding, like 20 years back, or how that all started? Like, what is your journey?
Story,
yeah.
Okay, so I'd say it was 2000. Craig and my husband and I, Craig, he woke up one night and said, I think we need to do something online. And we got married in 1998, and there was nothing. There was basically, I think it was just Celebration House where you could get business cards, and that is all we had. Anyway, so he woke up one night and he said, no, online is the way to go. I was like, what? Are you mad? Like, where'd you get this from? It was before Google started. And he started going to these wedding expos, which were very big and still big, but they were very big at the time. And we had a little baby in a pram, and we pushed her around this expo trying to sell this online platform to vendors. And at that stage, we were selling just a directory. So, I just remember how we grew from that. He had a laptop, I had a baby in a pram, and off we went. And it just became, it was actually Cape Weddings at the time, and then grew from Cape Weddings to hotel weddings to Gauteng. And then we made it SA Weddings, and that's how we started.
Wow, this is so interesting, because when we talk to people, like, everybody has one starting point, and it starts either in a garage or on a laptop or at your place in a bed, or it's really, really interesting how things move on. By the time you became what you are today, right? This is really very special. I think your story is really interesting,
and specifically that your husband actually came up with the idea, like, to push with the weddings, because usually when you go like to the planning side of things, usually the husbands are not ones who like to dive into the planning phase of planning a wedding. They're just more like in the background usually. So that's quite interesting.
But I mean, with planning our wedding, I did do everything, and I think he noticed the stress around it, and then I think he decided, no, there must be a gap for this. So I think that's
Better way.
Better way.
Okay.
That's interesting.
yeah.
So when we chatted a little bit earlier, you also told me that, like, particularly now during lockdown, you have a specific way to communicate with either brides or with your supplier. Just tell us a little bit, like, what is the difference, what you do now and maybe to before, and what you want to achieve with this, or why are you doing this?
So I think as a team, we looked at what we're going through, and we thought it was really important to create different content, because people are needing to see different content right now, and they don't want to see just the pretty picture. They're needing information on how to cope with this lockdown, whether it's from the bride or the vendor. And so we've really been addressing both. We've been trying to help all our vendors on our platform and vendors that are not on our platform, just tips, budgeting tips for them, how to address their businesses right now. We've had some wonderful professionals help us on that. And then for the brides, like what to do, like trying to get an idea from them. Are they postponing? Are they canceling? And just trying to motivate them in whichever way we possibly can, from doing blog posts of how to shop in this time, a COVID shopping list, to a budget, to a budgeting list. And then we've also still been really inspirational with sharing our content from our styled shoots to our real weddings. And that's we're just addressing things as in now. We're not planning so much into the future, and we're addressing it now. But when I say we're not planning into the future, we are still planning. I mean, we're not stopping. SA Weddings is not giving up. We're very much there to support the industry, and the industry that we are so passionate about. We're very much there to support everyone. So that's our approach.
Mm-hmm. I think right now this is an important message also for, I think, a lot of businesses, because the wedding industry at large is well known for smaller companies that operate in it, maybe like even single person companies, so I think a lot have been hit very, very hard with the current developments of this lockdown. And even though maybe one could cope until now, I think the worst problem is the uncertainty as well, not only for the brides, but also for any supplier out there, because even though if we want to cheer people up, and I mean, we want to share the positivity, by the end of the day, it's still something that we cannot 100% advise, like when things are going ahead again, in which capacity maybe we can plan weddings. Will there be restrictions to the limited numbers of guests? Like how will be the hygiene protocol exactly for vendors, for guests, for the couple, to actually have a celebration somewhere? I think this makes a general very, very difficult for an entire industry, and an entire industry that is not a multi-billion industry in the sense of every single person out there is just a smaller vendor than maybe when we look at pharmaceuticals or the automotive industry or something like this. So there are lots of homegrown companies, maybe that mothers doing something from the living room, like stationery or just different things. So I think that is then for South Africa particularly something that is very, very hard to deal with.
So I think that's a very good point, and I think in a time like this, it's so important to stick together and to support each other. I mean, that's something that we have been doing. Vendors, companies that are not actually with SA Weddings, we've just been sharing content. We've been seeing their posts and we're just sharing. It's very important that we do that as an industry. It's to try and keep yourself it doesn't help. And I think the more we collaborate and the more we share, the better it is for all of us, because we're all going through it.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yes.
so sad for those smaller businesses that just can't stay open. And if I could, I would say, please, just we'll do anything for you. I mean, we have actually helped our vendors as much as we can to try and give them, a bit of help until September. But yeah, we've got to do whatever we can as an industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you maybe to still spin the ball a little bit in a different direction? If you would have to explain to a couple from abroad why they would have to have their wedding in South Africa, what would you say?
Why they would have to have their wedding in South Africa?
Yes. So what is it that you're so passionate about? I mean, you are representing SA Weddings with like obviously different vendors from different parts of the country. But if there is a couple out there who's maybe still not clear where they're gonna have their wedding, why would you say, listen, this is something that is really special for South Africa, maybe in the way how people work, maybe in the locations, maybe just something. I mean, I don't know, what would be your answer to that?
So I love that question, and I actually think it's quite easy. I mean, South Africa is the most incredible place to come and get married. Whether it's Cape Town, whether it's the bush, whether it's Mpumalanga, each place is unique, and in that place we have got the most incredible industry professionals. I feel that we are professional. I feel we are reliable, and we have got the most beautiful produce that's so accessible to us. We creative, and coming from abroad, you can have. I mean, the currency is great for coming from abroad, with our currency being so low. And you can really, and you can bring out your family and friends from abroad and showcase this beautiful country and have the most incredible celebration. We're also the most friendly country, so I think that's a big plus as well. But I'll give you an example. I've got a very good friend. She lives in America, and she was marrying an American man, and they decided to get married in March. And I mean, this poor girl, her wedding was organized for the 21st of March and at a beautiful venue in Stellenbosch, and she couldn't have it because the wedding the weekend before, they had foreigners and had to close it. But she brought all these Americans out here that had never been to this country, and every single one turned around to me and said they're coming back. Just from everything that we've
getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps because this is the truth.
It touched me. I mean, I couldn't believe the service providers that pulled together. It was literally that last Saturday where we were only allowed, I think, 50 people. The photographer pulled through, the band pulled through. We didn't have food, but it was fine. but it was the most incredible, warm celebration. And that is, I will stand by any service provider, anyone in South Africa, because we come together as we unite and we pull off the most beautiful celebrations. And why wouldn't you want to get married?
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
That is amazing, because the hospitality, this is what everybody say, the warm hospitality that they experience in South Africa, which is really, really, really unique. And I think wherever you go, to the winelands, to Cape Town, to whatever, Midlands or Joburg or wherever, the very special feeling this country is actually transported. And what you say in particular to Americans, I mean, we've been involved in an event 3 years ago where a lot of colored Americans came actually to South Africa to discover their roots in a certain way. And for us, it was so special to see that some of those people have never ever been in Africa, even though that this is actually like somehow they like their roots, you know. And some even they got warned maybe they shouldn't go to Africa because it's so unknown for a lot of Americans, you know. And when they were here and before they left, every single one said this is definitely not the last time. They have been so overwhelmed. They have never ever thought to experience something what they experienced. And I think we cannot get any better ambassadors than those people as guests. They come to like any event here in South Africa and go home and tell people how beautiful this country is and how amazing we can celebrate here.
We're very lucky. We are so lucky. And I also just think, I look at our quality here as well, what we produce, and it actually sometimes I look at our real weddings that we get, and it blows my mind how creative we are. I get surprised all the time, and it's I love it. And you know what's also interesting to me, I don't know if you find it with ordering and bringing in flowers and everything you do, you know, different provinces, how they do things differently. It's just interesting to me. You know, if we go to Johannesburg for an expo, the way they display things is different to here. Same as if you go to in the also different. So I love that. I love the variety.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this is just something like personally what makes South Africa also so special, because you have the country, but you have completely different worlds within this country. And you can choose like whether you are from South Africa or from abroad, what is closest to you, you know? So do you want to have like a spicy, colorful wedding near Durban somewhere, you know? Or whether you are fancying like the winelands and more like a very historic old world charm like in the Cape Town wineland area, or whether you want to go like to the more very modern urban Johannesburg area, you know. So you have like different things. And I mean, particular also, I mean, I would like to be an ambassador also for the Garden Route, because we are here. But it is just also a whole complete different setup, because we have the mountain, the sea, we have, I mean, smaller cities, but we have forests, we have so many things. I mean, it's called Garden Route for a reason, because it's like one garden next to the other. And I think that is just something so beautiful to explore. And for people who are passionate about traveling, like generally, I think South Africa has just so much to offer.
And particularly for couples from abroad, in South African couples, it's very, very interesting what we discovered the last couple of years. We even created a special platform for the Garden Route. We have a Instagram that called Garden Route Vet. With a double D, where we promote like vendors from the Garden Route, because we thought the Garden Route is a little bit a hidden gem and a bit underestimated also for their service providers. We hear it always when people want to get married here, they said, yeah, but who to contact? I mean, we don't know, like there is no like a certain area directory or something like that. So we created that, and it's free. No, people don't have to pay, but we just recommend like vendors that we have either experienced or we find they offer something special or a super service or whatsoever. And I think for people from abroad, most of them, they know maybe Cape Town or the winelands, but then that's it, you know. But so South Africa industry has so much more. I mean, the Garden Route is one thing, the Midlands is another thing, or like even as you said, Limpopo, or like wherever all these game
There's the
farms are,
Karoo. There's the Karoo,
Yeah,
which
the
is
Karoo. The
yeah,
Karoo.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's very diverse, and I think my recommendation for couples from abroad would be just like there's so much more than just one place.
Can I ask you, where did you get married? Like, where did you get married? Like, what was the place that you chose for your wedding day?
So it was quite interesting because we got married quite quickly. So I was scrambling around and I was getting very stressed because everywhere I went, I wanted to hire in stuff. So I thought, no, this is not going to work for me. So we actually ended up getting married at the Mount Nelson, and we had a brunch, which was really nice, different to a lunch or a dinner. And it was the most beautiful day, and it was perfect for us. It was intimate, and so that was our choice of wedding venue, and wouldn't change it for anything.
I think also generally, I mean, now with the uncertainty also of like how many people are allowed to have weddings, I think smaller intimate weddings are for the entire world industry of weddings, one thing that they need to prepare for. Because I do not believe personally that we're going to have to start like 150, 200 guest weddings. We're going to have smaller weddings just for the safety of the guests and every service provider that is like part of the celebration. So what do you think, like maybe out of this COVID-19 scenario that we are in, what are going to be trends, or what are going to be just necessary things that will changes that will evolve from the situation that we are in?
It's an interesting question because we kind of we all up in the air at the moment. We don't really know which way it's going. But I think what will happen is, yes, there'll be more intimate weddings, which people will be looking for the smaller venues, the more maybe destinations might be quite popular, weekends away, that kind of thing. But I think it will be quite short-lived. That's my opinion. I think it will happen and it'll go, and then most things, we have a crisis and then all of a sudden it's gone and we carry on with life. I'm praying that's what's going to happen. But I do think that we've asked a lot. We've had Beata, who's our digital marketing girl at SA Wedding. She's done a lot of polls on our social platforms to get an idea of what brides and grooms have done. So I think a lot of them have actually postponed their weddings to next year because they still want that wedding that they had organized or planned. So I'm hoping that, yes, there will be intimate weddings for a long time. And I think that is the way people's mindsets are going to have to go. But it's not going to stop them. You can have a small intimate wedding and it can be just as beautiful. And they'll probably have a bigger budget then to do more at the smaller intimate. Spend more money on the flowers, spend more money on your dress. It's not about spending the money, but just maybe having those things you always wanted but you couldn't because you were having a bigger wedding. I don't know. Well, it's going to be very
more experience. I personally guess it's about the quality of the event and the experience for the couple and their guests. So I think because everyone is so eager actually to go out there and get married. I mean, everyone who was planning to get married will still get married, But I think also the eagerness to get married will create a complete different experience because the value of guests actually at the wedding will, I think, be much, much more, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's not just I'm going to invite anyone that I know, the people that are going to attend the wedding will be really people that mean a lot to those couples. And I think right now, everyone understands also the personal touches that we need as people, We need the people around us and close friends and families. And I think this will change how people will celebrate, at least in my view. It's going to be more family sign table, and not just like, I don't know, round tables like scattered around in a huge ballroom. Is going to be much more
Closer.
also in the feeling how the design and the decor is going to be like. That's just my guess.
And I think you're so right there. I think yeah, it's this time has definitely, I mean, so many of us haven't seen our family and our close friends, and I think it has made us realize how precious time is. And when we are planning a special celebration like a wedding, it will make us stop and think, okay, how are we actually going to do this? And yeah, but I do get excited. I was thinking about it today. I was thinking about, gosh, okay, all these weddings that have been not necessarily cancelled but postponed to next year. That they're going. Sorry, sorry. They're going to. There's going to be a lot of weddings next year. I feel very positive about that. So I think this wedding industry is going to be smiling next year, which is great.
Yeah, that's a very nice description, actually. I like this because like they are in tears so much, and I really wish that everyone can hold breath until like the air is coming back again for all us. It will be a long time. I know that. But but also we have spoken with other suppliers and florists and wedding planners the last couple of weeks. Some of them they try maybe to bridge the time to do either something else or to do something like out of their experience, what they have, maybe teaching or online classes or whatever. I think this is also an add-on to our industry. If people do that, it's not just we do that because we do not have real work. This is also a real work which enriches actually our industry, and young people can learn during this time, and this is a benefit for the industry, like in the future. I think that is not always, everything is not always bad, even that the situation is really bad, but we all can have our own little part to make it better for us and for others.
I think it's important to always try and flip things to, it's not always easy, but try and flip things to the positive side. And we have at SA Weddings, we've noticed quite a few of our vendors have re-looked at their profiles, their websites, they're redoing things. And this is actually a great time to do that. You know, just have a fresh new look at things. You've got a bit more time, take a deep breath and go, okay, we can actually do this differently, that differently. And I think that's really positive, and I think it's great that people are doing that. They're rebranding or they're starting an online shop. I think that's awesome that they're doing that. I really do think it's great.
Yeah,
that's right. Can you just tell me, like, what your platform, I mean, what do you want couples to really take away from SA Weddings? So when you now, for example, say, okay, fine, you are offering like really from A to Z vendors. I mean, just explain to people maybe who have not been on your page, on your platform, what is it that you want to really provide to a couple, like for South African weddings?
So it's really important to us that we create as much inspiration for the couples. We basically try and bring them in from social media and bring them to our platform, and to see what our vendors have to show them. And I must say that we have over 400, 500 vendors on our website, and just to really showcase to the couples planning their weddings what these wedding professionals have to offer. And I really do back every single one of our vendors on our site. The quality and the work that they do is amazing, and it's really to get the brides to come to us, spend some time on our site, whether it's looking at our blog and inspiring them in content from there, which will link back to service providers that have actually done, had input to a styled shoot, had a collaboration with us. And it's ready to get brides to use us to plan their weddings. And I think we are a perfect planning platform, especially it's just when it's so overwhelming when you are planning a wedding. And I think we've got a great platform to showcase to brides exactly which service providers you should use. Most of them are with us, but if they're not, we're going to get them. And we make the planning process a lot easier, and it's all on our site.
Okay.
So, yeah, so
it's really from venues to decor, like florists, so just like from A to Z, basically, yeah?
A to Z.
Just reminds me that I actually owe you something that I promised you from the flying whale. I actually have forgotten that. We're gonna get to send you this. I just got it to my mind right now. I'm sorry.
Can I ask you for people?
Say it again.
Sorry.
Say it again.
No, I was just going to say it's so important for us to really show our vendors to brides and grooms getting married out there, just really, because you don't always see exactly the quality that they have, and it's so important to us saying you've got to actually see these people. And I mean, we do I think my team does the most incredible job of showcasing our vendors' work to the brides and grooms out there. So that's how I feel.
Just tell the people where can they find, tell the bride and the groom where can they maybe find you, the platform, what is it called exactly, and maybe if the one or the other vendor looks now and says, hey, I'm not part of SA Weddings, how can they contact you? Okay,
so if brides and grooms are they're searching, they're wanting to come and plan their wedding from our platform, it's saweddings.co.za. And if there are vendors that would like to join our platform, which I really think they should, is to also they come to our website, and all our contact details are there. So that's the best way to do it. So it's saweddings.co.za.
Okay.
Interesting. You a couple of times you mentioned style shoots that you do with vendors. So do I understand correctly that you also initiate a particular style shoots that you give maybe a team, or are vendors coming to you with already ready to go style shoot that you then decide to publish?
So it works. We do both. We do prefer to collaborate. So we'll come up with a concept, and then we will approach vendors on our site, and then we collaborate, and we create this beautiful shoot. If a vendor comes to us and says, we've done this shoot, can we please publish it on your platform? We then have to check and see how many of our vendors were included in that shoot, because it's very important that all links. We're not just a directory. We are a broadcasting platform. So it's quite detailed. We've got lots of amazing tools on SA Weddings. So it is important that we work as a family. So it is important that we have as many of our service providers on our platform when collaborating a style shoot.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay,
that's nice. So I think, I mean, for me, it's just, I love to see people who are passionate about their business, and specifically, I mean, that they are passionate about South African weddings, because it's really big. South Africa is not a very small country, and as we just said, it's so much that that South Africa has to offer. So I really thank you for also being here and being an advocate for weddings in South Africa, as we don't know when exactly this is going to happen again, but I really hope for the entire industry that South African weddings will be beautiful. They will be very soon, and they will be safe, and people will take back home amazing memories, wherever, from within the country and they celebrate somewhere else, or they go back to their home countries abroad. I think this is also for the entire economy, because I mean, we just need to look at it like from a bigger picture. It's not just the vendors, it's the hotels, it's tourism, it's public transportation, it's air, like travel. Like, I mean, it's really, really big. It's not just, I mean, the florist or a hiring company. It's a very, very big industry when you look at the bigger picture. So I really do hope that South African weddings will be as beautiful as they were before, and maybe even more, because I also believe that the time that people like necessarily had to take off now will spark their creativity. And I think the future weddings that we will see will be even more creative, will be even more outside of the box, will be even more special. Because everyone just wants this so much right now and wants to share what they can do. So this is really what I think that is going to happen in the future for South African weddings.
No, I think I agree with you, and I think that's positive, and it's exciting. And I know we're going through tough times, but we've also got to get excited about the future. So I think that's.
Yeah, I like to ask you one more question. Like the last 20 years, what was the most, let's say, challenging or the most like special thing that you have experienced, you will remember forever and say, wow, that was, I don't know what, but this was something really like unique in your industry? Yes.
Sure. That's a tough one. And well, to just let you know, I only basically took over the business 6 years ago. So I've had SA Weddings for 6 years. And I think this is different. I'll say I think my best experience that I can think of in the last 6 years is really, you know, we've got this big Bride of the Year competition. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
And the first year I did it, I took over from someone halfway through, and it wasn't really my event. And then as the years have gone on, this event has just got better and better, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm just so proud of what we do as a team. And that's one thing that's really stood out to me from taking over SA Weddings. And then in saying that, also, I just think I look back from six years to now, and just how we're doing things, and how we're not scared of a challenge, and how we kind of testing ourselves as a team all the time, and we're looking for new, and we just trying to keep that foot in front, and just really doing whatever we can for the industry and for brides coming to our platform to plan their weddings.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful and very interesting. Do you have any more like what we want really to know?
No, I think this is actually what rounds it off quite nicely. I think your passion for the industry, which is always important when you like have your own baby out there, you know. I think right now, if we do not realize that something is our passion now, we wouldn't have the breath to continue in such difficult situation that we are in, to just hope and wish that things are going to get better soon, to continue what we are doing. And I think that is like really like lovely when I see that you have this passion for the industry.
Yeah, your eyes are sparkling, your hands actually, one can see this. I think this is also very important that clients see that you do this with your full body and mind. This is what actually drives you, and not you are sitting there and waiting that 5 o'clock is actually arriving. You know, like sometimes, you get sometimes people not much in our industry, but in others maybe. And I think that is what one can see, and even if somebody maybe is not yet in, but you can draw people towards you. I think that is something very special, and I think you represent our industry absolutely perfect. And I'm just like say to anyone that's out there, maybe check on you and
Go
get
to SA Weddings.
go to SA Weddings and get in touch with you and see what best you can do for them. And I will definitely contact you.
Well, yeah, I can't thank you enough for inviting me to have a chat. And yes, and let me tell you, it's not just me. I am extremely passionate, but I've got an incredible team that sits behind me, and we're all passionate. So I can't take all the credit, but it is my business and I do love it. And I am positive that we're going to come out fine. And if I can just say to everyone out there, just try and be positive and try and look for alternatives right now, and let's just stick together. And that's the most important thing, sticking together.
Thank you so
But
much.
thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it started off nice. You said we are all like what we say. You said it in your own words. We are all a piece of the puzzle, you know. And I think that is just the message also at the end.
Thank
Katherine,
you.
thank you for your time. All the very best. Stay safe and keep well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
It was lovely.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, there were some things I was like, oh,